We're about to talk about the biggest struggle I have in game design and how it's affected my indie game personally. It's made my game become something so much bigger than I would have ever expected, but when something grows so big, there's always a downfall. Well, kind of. Let's get into that. Okay, so some of you may be new to my channel and I just wanted to welcome you guys. My name is Daniel and I am the head developer of my action-adventure indie game titled Windshire. I've been kicking this idea around for quite some time and I really wanted to know if it was worth making this video. And well, at this point in time, I think it's well worth it. I get a ton of comments saying that I inspired new developers to pick up Unity and start their journey, and honestly that is just mind-blowing to me. I'm a 17-year-old game developer making my own dream game, working with amazing people every single day, and being able to motivate others to pick up game development is such an amazing feeling. It shows me that what I set out to do on this channel is finally coming to life. Being able to read these comments saying I motivated them to continue work on their game or that I helped them pick up Unity is the reason I wanted to start my YouTube channel. Learning that my devlogs have impacted other people's lives is honestly just mind-blowing. I can't believe I can have such an impact on people that I've never met, and I wanted to give you guys a huge thank you for giving me that opportunity. And if you guys are new to the channel and want to see more game dev stuff, hit that subscribe button. I post weekly, or at least I try to, and I have some really awesome videos coming out shortly. With that being said, let's talk about how Overscope has affected my indie game. Because my devlogs, they're really just best of compilations of just what game dev is supposed to be. Getting the features to work, adding in awesome new enemies, new weapons, all of that, well that's just the good side. I don't really showcase the bad, such as the stress, the anxiety, the problem of handling overscope in a game, and well, that is something I wanted to bring to life. I do not want to hide from the fact that Windshire is an overscope project. It's just plain and simple, everyone can see it. The game is honestly much more than I can probably manage, but does that mean I'm going to stop making devlogs, stop the development, and disband the team? Absolutely not. Windshire is more than just a game to me, it's a way I express who I am with a form of art. But straying away from a game just because it's overscope can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Every game dev has the same message when it comes to overscope. Just don't do it. And honestly, I kind of hate that message. It's just so flat and honestly obvious, and I wanted to follow that simple advice, but just as the saying goes, it's easier said than done. You don't realize you overscoped until it's way too late, and this happened with my own project. If you watch the first episode of the devlog series or the 1 year of game development video, both are amazing and you should probably go check them out. But you may have seen what Windshire, or better yet, Goblins was. I vividly remember starting on Goblins. I was a freshman in high school and I was in my first ever computer science course. I just finished up a game for a game jam and I was excited to start something new. After finishing the work for that class that day, I decided to hop on YouTube and see if there's any new game dev videos. I remember Blackthorn Prod releasing a video about the games he made over the past years, and as I watched it, one piqued my curiosity. It was a simple game of a top-down RPG styled project where you would go around killing orcs or goblins, I'm not very sure. If you guys know the video, link it down in the comments below. I would love to rewatch it. Anyways, I went home that day and I started on my own version of it. I took some inspiration for the artwork, and when I mean inspiration, I basically yoinked his artwork and plopped it into my own, because the character was basically two little spheres just kind of smashed together and boom. That's how I made the models for the game. It was super simple, but I was in love with the project. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on too much about the story and how I made the project, because I talk about that more in my first ever devlog, which is going to be linked somewhere up there, so watch it if you're interested. Anyways, a few months later, I was scrolling through some screenshots of low poly models and I found a studio that specializes in them. Many of you may know them, they're called Synthy and they make gorgeous looking models. And well, this was around the time I fell down the rabbit hole of overscoping. I had so many ideas rushing through my head and I wanted to make the next big low poly RPG.
I was pretty naive to the whole idea of overscoping at that time, and I didn't really worry about it too much. I was kind of scared and worried about how I'm going to be able to juggle so many things, but I didn't think too much of it, and I had a burning urge to make a game I wanted. And that's really what kept me going. I didn't really think if this project is doable for me, I just kind of went headfirst into development, and that is probably a big red flag if I would ever say so.
I started modeling up some humanoid low poly models with the help of some tutorials, and my small Discord server seemed to love the idea of the style shift. By doing this and no one warning me it was a bad idea, I just kept going and I opened myself to so many problems that I never faced before, such as animation, models, texturing, and so many other parts of game development that I really never experienced before.
This is why sharing your game with others is a double-edged sword. Showing them all the references, all the concept art you have, and everything you have for the game will hype them up and make them fall in love. But on the other hand, they won't be able to give it to you straight. This is why I recommend talking to another developer and seeing what you've done in the past and what you're doing right now to see if the game is doable. In addition, plan your project, because that is the biggest step in game development. I've personally struggled with planning my project, and I've had to redo the same exact mechanic multiple times to get the exact system and feature in place. Game dev isn't just knowing how to do something, it's the preparation, attention to detail, and planning out every single system and feature in your project to have a successful game. As I continued to develop Goblins, I realized I really wanted a team on board, but rather I needed that team, and that's a huge red flag for any developer. If you don't believe you can actually successfully make the game yourself, then the game is probably overscoped and you might need to take a step back. Because if the team members you decide to bring aboard decide to drop out, then you're stuck with an unfinished game that you're unable to continue yourself. My personal opinion, if you're unable to make the game yourself, then the game is definitely overscoped and you definitely need to take that step back. Having a team shouldn't allow you or enable you to make the game, it should just make the development process much easier for you and everyone else on board. But at the time, I felt like I needed one. I couldn't do any of the animations, I couldn't do the modeling, I couldn't do the sound or the music, and I needed help. I realized my mistakes and well, I decided to reach out and get some help, because instead of disappointing the small following I had, I took on some like-minded individuals to help me along in the development, and that should have been a huge red flag.
Then Phase 1 released. The game had a good art style, the game had fun mechanics, and the game, it was good. But was it enough for me? Was having a solid mechanic, though a bit buggy, worth it for me? Was it worth starting from basically scratch and remaking everything just because I wanted something bigger? Well, I didn't decide to do everything from the start, but now looking back, Overscope got me again, and again, and again.
Now here we are in 2021 and Phase 2 isn't even out. The game looks like nothing how it did in Phase 1, nor does it look like it did in Goblins. Is it still Windshire at the end of the day? Well, of course it is. Just because it had an art shift, just because it had some mechanics redone, it is still the same game at its heart. I know I've been saying Overscope is bad, you shouldn't do it, step back from your project, but that's not really the message I want to take away from this video. Overscope can be good, it can challenge you, it can make you a better developer, and it can bring on new features that you didn't know how to do before into your skill set. But at the end of the day, Overscope is still Overscope, and the devs were right to start off with it. It's not something new developers should try to do, and it's not what developers should aim for in general, but it's what happened to me and it let me grow bigger and better.
This game has brought me to places that I never thought I could be, but moreover, you, the viewer, have. You have made my small side hobby something that matters, to something that a lot of you guys actually want to see happen, and well, from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you guys. I love all of the viewers that watch these videos, and if you stayed until now, comment cheese in the comments below, and I'll give you a cookie. You guys are the best, and if you enjoyed this video, well, hit up that red subscribe button and check out our Patreon page. If you want to help us and make these videos better, go support us in the description below. And with that all being said, I wanted to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next devlog. Peace.